welcome on Anderson Cooper 360 weekdays on CNN. He recently moderated the CNN YouTube Democratic presidential debate, and he'll cover a Republican presidential debate in September. Please welcome Anderson Cooper. Hey, thanks for coming.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks.
Hey, great job in that YouTube debate. It was really different. How do you think it went from your perspective?
You know, it was hard to tell. I mean, I think it went pretty well. It's hard when you're on a stage in front of all these people because it's a little bit like being at the Hall of Presidents at Disneyland. It's like animatronic characters.
Right.
You know? And the rule I learned is that you shouldn't look any of them in the eye because they're all desperate for you to call on them. So you just have to sort of avoid any eye contact. It's like living in New York, walking down the street. You just don't look anyone in the eye. Yeah.
It's like the opposite of regular TV. You want to look, say, look the person in the eye. So you're like, so tell me, Bob.
Right, exactly. And they all have little tails, like John Edwards sort of motions with his hand that he wants to be called on. Hillary Clinton just stares at you. And Dennis Kucinich, of course, is waving wildly. So, and Mike Gravel just yells at you. So,
yeah. Did he yell? Was he mad at you?
You know, he wants more time always,
right.
And you know, but there's, you know, he's very low in the polls, but he has interesting things to say.
Well, this is an interesting format. For those of you that didn't see it, how many watched the YouTube debate? Okay, that's pretty good. Regular people sent their questions in on video.
Right. There's 3,000. We got 3,000 video submissions of people just asking 30-second questions.
Now, I read something, and maybe I got this wrong, that the candidates got to view the questions.
No, I mean, anyone could view the questions. All 3,000 were on YouTube. But,
I see.
But there was no way we would give the candidates the questions in advance.
I see. Then you just chose out of the 3,000.
Right, we chose out of the 3,000. They had no idea which ones were going to
Do you think this format will change presidential debates? Or do you think it's a gimmick? Do you think it's something that will catch on?
I think it's going to be hard to go back to not having some form of viewer involvement, some form of people asking questions. I know there's another debate, I think, on another network this weekend, and they're trying to do some sort of viewer involvement. So I think it adds a personal dimension to it. I think that's pretty cool.
And what question surprised you the most? Where any of you went, oh my God, this is weird?
A lot of them. We had a guy who was asking about, he started off asking, what are you going to do to protect my babies? And you kind of think what he's talking about is children, and then he reaches off camera and he pulls out this automatic weapon, and it's an assault rifle, and that's his baby. So I thought that was, you know, sort of interesting and different and caught the candidates kind of by surprise.
Yeah, well, good thing he wasn't there in person. Now, the Democrats, they all seem to come to this thing. Were any reluctant? You had all the candidates there.
All the Democrats were there. I think they were nervous. They didn't really know what to expect. And now the Republicans, it was supposed to be September 17th. Oddly, now a lot of them seem to have scheduling conflicts.
Really?
Yeah. So, but we're hoping that, I think it's going to get worked out. It would be a shame if, it seems odd that they wouldn't want to answer questions just from regular people around the country.
I mean, I watched it, and I thought all the candidates came off fine. Certainly no better or worse than any other debate. And it was certainly more interesting. I think more people watched than watched.
It also allows them to show a sense of humor and just kind of who they are as people.
Why do you think the Republicans are reluctant to...
you know, they say it's scheduling conflict, so I'm going to have to believe them.
It's not scheduling. You're a reporter. You don't believe them.
Well, you know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see. We're going to reschedule it and see if...
Now, you've done other debates, the more traditional. Do you like this style better?
I do. I mean, debates are really formal. And, you know, back when Kerry was going against President Bush in this last election, those debates were, you know, highly orchestrated. Everything's negotiated, you know, from the size of the podium that they stand behind, the number of pencils, even the ambient temperature in the room.
What do you mean the ambient temperature?
Well, I had read that for the Kerry-Bush debates, the Kerry camp wanted the ambient temperature in the room to be pretty cool because John Kerry sweats, and the Bush people wanted the ambient temperature to be very high because John Kerry sweats.
Wow. Wow. Now, here's something I didn't know. After the debate, the candidates go to a spin room. What is that?
Spin room, it's like the most honest thing in politics because at least they call it what it is. It's just this ridiculous room where people go and spin complete fabrications about what actually happened that night. And I don't know why any reporters actually go to it because you get no actual facts out of the spin room. I once went to the spin room after a debate for the last elections when all the there were like, you know, 20 Democrats running back then, and this Italian journalist came up to me and started asking me this lengthy question about Israeli settlements and Palestinian territory, and I was like, why is he asking me this question? And then I realized that he thought I was General Wesley Clark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who at the time was running for president.
Well, I think it's the gray hair. Gray hair imparts great importance.
Yes. When did you go gray?
You know, I started going gray I'm Alcoholics Anonymous. I started, I guess my late 20s. My dad was gray really young.
Yeah.
I used to feel bad and looked at my bald friends and went, all right. How about you? Did you start young?
Yeah, I started young. I started, you know, it's like you know, premature ejaculation. You know it can happen, but when it actually happens to you, it's kind of a shock.
You know something? I don't think it's like premature ejaculation at all.
I wouldn't know, but from what I've read.